Good morning, VIP traders. Welcome back. These are the trading ranges for Thursday, May 22nd. All right, so I woke up a little bit late today, so I'm going to power through these levels, but that's okay because today's trading ranges are not difficult. This is SPY. We are on the 30-minute time frame, and the implied move today here is between 577 and 589. 30-day average volatility still much wider, 565 to 601. Eventually, these levels will start getting closer together, but for right now, there's still a lot of uncertainty, even if VIX is just pricing in a smaller trading range here. Tomorrow's implied move for Friday, 575 to 591. The average of the three volatility readings is 572 to 594, which for me, that's going to take it out to these spreads out here. That's where I'm going to look. That's going to be my main position. So, to the upside, we have the 35 EMA. That was a clear resistance yesterday. Let's put an arrow right there. So 35 EMA is our first resistance. Above that, the top of the implied move at 589. 589 and 591, that does look like a good spread. I would consider taking a small position there. But if we spike 591, 594, and then underneath us, we do have this trend line right here, the uptrend support, 30-minute 200 moving average underneath that. So that's what we have in the immediate implied move. Underneath that, we have a lot of levels, 4-hour 200 moving average, 200-day moving average, this up gap, and the weekly 35 EMA. You could see that the momentum here is flat with those levels. So we could see some consolidation here until momentum gets moving again. And we are starting with a red signal line. Pre-market has us pretty much flat right in the middle here. So you can kind of see what's going on just within the implied move and kind of expect where price is going to go there. SPX, implied move here, 57.90 to 59.05. 30-day average takes that quite a bit wider, 56.70 to 61.20. 57.70 to 59.25 is tomorrow's contract, and then the average 57.40 to 59.85. Here again, same thing, 35 EMA coming up, 35 EMA coming down. We have this uptrend support trend line, 30-minute 200 moving average. Let's just take a quick look a little bit zoomed out here at that trend line. So you could see that when we started this rally here, we started seeing those signs of bullishness, and then once we got above this 35 EMA, this trend line started to form right here. We have a higher low here, higher low here. We did land right there. Pre-market and futures take us flat right here. We definitely could break that, especially we do have a red signal line here, and that would take us to the next support, which is the 30-minute 200 moving average. Underneath all of that, we do have the more flat momentum here, which is on the bigger time frames, 4-hour 200 moving average, 200-day moving average, and 35 EMA. Definitely worth looking at those levels on their respective time frames. Check out the 4-hour, check out the daily, check out the weekly. This is something I will probably do on TradingView really soon. Look at the bigger time frames. Intraday, though, the only things in our trading range to know, 35 EMA, trend line here, that uptrend, and 30-minute 200 moving average. And just immediately outside of it within the next day, 4-hour and 200-day 200 moving averages. QQQ, implied move here, 507 to 520. 494 to 532 is the 30-day average volatility. 504 to 522 on Friday's contract, the average of all three, 501 to 525. We do have a very similar setup over here, and we have that 35 EMA. That's going to be our first level of resistance. It wasn't as clear of a resistance yesterday here as it was in the S&P, but we did still see that as resistance. Resistance was more right around here at 523. Underneath that, we have that uptrend support trend line, 30-minute 35 EMA. Sorry, that's the 35 200 moving average. We do have this island gap underneath that. That could be a real target because those always fill. So bottom of that gap is at 499. And then we have this up gap with some support in it, 4-hour 200 moving average, 200-day moving average, 35 EMA on the weekly, and 1-hour 200 moving average. So definitely we have support here. We have an island to fill. We've got some uptrend stuff going on here. 50-day moving average is curling up. So we are starting to clear up some of the technicals. We did have a bearish divergence, and that too is starting to reach back into oversold. Let's look at RSI. I think we did that in last night's video. RSI back down to 30 on the 30-minute time frame. I'll definitely do bigger time frames, so keep an eye out that on TradingView, and if I do, I will mention that in the next video. But we have a pretty straightforward trading range here. It looks like a lot, but look first just within just the implied move for the next 2 days. What's in there, get acquainted with that, because it's probably where we're going to stay today. You can just look at momentum and see that, and we are opening pretty flat here, up 0.15% in pre-market, futures up 0.1, and then really you just need to know about that 35 EMA. Always know where your 35 EMA is. IWM, the implied move here is between 200 and 207. We're back to 200 right here. So 30-day average 197 to 210, $3 wider, 199 to 208 on Friday's contract, average 198 to 209. We are underneath the 30-minute 200 moving average here. So interesting trading range here because we have that 30-minute 200 moving average, 35 EMA, red signal line, which could point us right into this up gap here, could give us some support, which could bring us to that upward facing 30-minute 200 moving average, which could meet us up with that downward facing 35 EMA. So as far as within the implied move, that's what's there. Underneath, we have the weekly 200 week moving average. We have the 50-day moving average 1 hour. So support is very clearly right around 197, 198. And then resistance is very clearly above us, 4-hour 200 moving average and 35 EMA weekly. There's a lot going on in this trading range, but not too difficult if you've been following along daily. These levels should not be a surprise here. DIA, we do have an implied move today, 413 to 425. Red signal line, which means definitely keep an eye on this 30-minute 200 moving average, the rest of this island gap, and then we have 413 as the bottom of the implied move. Bottom of the gap is just outside of that at 412, and the 1 hour coming up. So downward momentum, definitely know these levels could see support in the gap. And then up above, we have the 30-minute 200 moving average. That is now resistance. Now that we're trading underneath it, it was a support while we were above it. And then we do have the 4-hour 200 moving average, the 200-day moving average. 425 is the top of the implied move on the day, which everything above 420 is within the implied move from the week. So above 420 is likely the goal here, then met with resistance right here at the top. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to edit this as fast as I can, get it up. Make sure you check the link and get these charts for yourselves and have fun, trade safe. Make sure you take profits when you're up. I will see you guys later tonight.